Welcome, my fellow Geminis. This is your September 2023 reading. This is going to be for Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You could certainly have planets in the sign of Gemini. I know many of you are intuitively guided, so thank you for paying attention to your intuition. I feel like your guides, your spirit guides that are assigned to you in this lifetime, are going to get messages to you one way or another. So, I allow myself to be an open vessel for whatever messages want to come through for you. And some of you may be in love with a Gemini. I mean, I'm a Gemini. How could you not be in love? Just kidding. So anyways, and if that's the case, if you're checking on another Gemini or checking on a Gemini, just remember that your guides know that, and you'll probably have messages for you here too. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get right into your reading. We're going to use 3 different decks. We're going to start with our Mother Mary Oracle, just to show you for anyone who's new. We are going to clarify or go deeper with and we always go deep in Gemini, with the Gilded Tarot. And what was really calling, I was going to use the Psychic Tarot, but really what called out to me was the Light Seers Tarot. So this is what we're going to use for your main spread, okay? And, try to stick around to the end, or if you don't have the patience for that, because my videos are long, I know that, but they're what they need to be. I don't put a time limit on them. But many times, let's just use Taurus, for example, and I think Aries also. I ended up doing a whole new or a second spread at the end, and just to get real clarification, and I'm just telling you, what came out at the end was amazing. So if you don't have the patience, go ahead and flip to the end and try to watch that, but hopefully you watch the whole thing, because it's like a story. That's how I look at tarot, like I'm telling your story. Of course, we're going to talk a little bit about where you've been. Definitely, we're going to talk about the present, and then we're going to talk about the future. But I think sometimes we have to know where we've been to understand where we're going. All right, so enough talking about that. Let's get into the reading. By the way, I have a Gemini moon, and I thank God for it, because I have a Virgo sun. Nothing wrong with Virgo. I'm not saying that, but I feel like my Gemini moon gives me a lot more flexibility, if that makes sense. All right, and I know a lot of you share that with me. You have a Gemini moon and Virgo sun, or you're a Gemini sun, Virgo moon. So, I feel like we're all soulmates. Like we're all meant to gather together. And I feel like when we leave this earth, we're all going to meet and probably sit around and talk about it. So, all right, let's get into your reading. Mother Mary, Mother Mary, what do you want to tell Gemini? Remember, time is fluid. That just means that sometimes you don't catch a reading in the month that it's made for, but maybe that's not when you were meant to catch it. You know what I mean? I feel like divine timing is divine timing. You'll be guided to a reading, or a reading's going to show itself to you, and something's like, you click on it and you watch and you're like, it's exactly what I needed to hear. And then you realize, whoa, that video was made 3 years ago. Don't worry about that, especially at this table, because again, this is, I definitely connect to our guides. All right, well, one of my favorite cards from Mother Mary, watched over. I feel like if anything, it's confirmation that your guides are very active in your life, constantly sending you signs, epiphanies, messages. Doesn't mean we always pay attention to it. Sometimes we wonder, was that a sign? And if you have that question, Ask your guides. Send it to me again. Send it bigger. Send it so I can't ignore it. Even the red flags. Probably the red flags are the most important. But I also feel a lot of Geminis receive epiphanies to create. So, many of you have probably already heard the story, so I'm not even going to go into it in detail. But if you watch the beginning of Leo's reading, I had some tremendous messages from my son who's crossed over. Not just messages, but I ended up with Sam brought me a guitar in my office. He's like, hey, it was on the side of the road and I didn't, it was about to rain, so here you go. Well, this was after I received a message, and then my daughter received a message, and she also received, she was on her phone and she scrolled down and it said Guitar Tom had called her. This is someone that taught her guitar lessons years ago, and she said, I haven't been in contact with this person since then, but the word guitar was there. She watched a video the day before, and she said a lady kept talking about a guitar, and my daughter didn't think anything of it until I told her about these messages. And my daughter even said, Mom, take it with a grain of salt. But then I said, but I got an actual guitar, which is what my son loved to do, play guitar and sing, and he was great at it. So, I thank God for that, because, any signs like that, and that was a big sign. Even this little bell here was something that we manifested years ago. And we manifested it the very next day that I said, let's try to manifest a bell. Well, the very next day, the person I was living with then brought me in a bell and said, is this yours? I found it in the corner of the trunk of the car. Well, it wasn't mine. I don't know where it came from, but we manifested a bell. And some of you are going to remember that. I keep thinking it's your reading that we talked about that. But the reason why I'm telling you this is because I want you to understand that your loved ones, the ones that have crossed over before us, they're very active in our lives. Their love didn't go anywhere. It's just their physical body. And we will see them again. So, okay, watched over. I allow myself to feel safe and enjoy my life, knowing that heaven is watching over my loved ones and me. Watched over. Beautiful. I take it. Okay. Let's go ahead and bring in the light seers. Everything's pre-shuffled, but I do like to shuffle with you here. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Alright, let's give them a cut and let's get into it. Gemini, you're definitely one of my favorite readings to do. I always feel like, it's interesting. I've been doing tarot for so many years now. But each reading I do, it's like, for me, it feels like I'm watching a new movie. And I love movies. It's like your story is like a movie to me. It's telling me your story. Alright. I'm going to bring the lid down a little bit. And let's begin. So I know that the full moon is in Pisces. Keep that in mind. That can talk about, can be emotional. Pisces is about emotions. So, well, hello, Four of Wands, first card. This is the marriage card. Commitment, love. This is my favorite love card, I have to say, in the tarot. And the reason why it's my favorite is because this is about two people making a commitment to each other. And both people want to be there. You know, it doesn't even have to be love, though it is called the marriage card. But it is about commitment. And again, you don't really see it here, but normally there's two people that are looking eye to eye. It's like they're on the same vibration. Like, where you been? Well, I've been at this vibration. Where you been? I've been at this vibration. The Hermit, card of Virgo. Some of you could actually meet a Virgo. You know, this Hermit's like emerging from the cave, shining his beacon of light for others in the world. Some of you, it's like your collective wisdom that you've gained from different experiences. You know, what I think about the Hermit is it feels like someone to me, like, where, yes, he can talk about the dark night of the soul, but I feel like as a soul, I had the guts to go deep, right? To ask the big questions. I feel like the person in this energy is seeking spiritual advice, but for this earthly plane, for this lifetime. The Hermit can be a great teacher. Some of you, it's connecting you right to a Virgo. Doesn't have to be, but for some of you, it is connecting you to a Virgo. But let's see what the Hermit's looking at. What does he want to show us? He or she. Interesting. I'll tell you in a second. We have the 8 of Pentacles. And then we have the 7 of Pentacles. What's interesting is when I was shuffling your cards, and it's really, the shuffling puts me in a meditative state. And I feel like that's where I can really pick up a lot of messages. The 7 of Pentacles kept coming out. And I took notice of that. I'm like, you know, so let's talk about the 7 of Pentacles first and foremost. And then we'll go back. But first of all, 7 of Pentacles is mirrored by the 4 of Wands. 7 of Pentacles, its first message is patience. This is about planting seeds. I often feel it is your soul seed of intentions. Some of these seeds, yes, we planted while we are in this lifetime, but I feel like some of these seeds were planted before we came into this lifetime. It talks about patience because if you think about like planting a garden, right? You put that seed in the ground, cover it with dirt, put some water on it, and you don't expect it to sprout immediately. But you know eventually it's going to, if I tend to it, right? If I nourish my garden, that garden's going to be plentiful. So this can talk about having some patience for a seed of intention. 8 of Pentacles right before that. That can talk about the beginning of something. Listen, I feel like with the Hermit looking right at the 8 of Pentacles, and by the way, she's looking right back. Like the Hermit is shining his beacon of light over. And I wanted to see what it's illuminating. And the 8 of Pentacles, she's looking right back at that Hermit. This is great energy for a spiritual-based business. You know, creating something from your spirit. Well, you know, I say your spirituality, but really from your wisdom. And the 8 of Pentacles, you know, you don't need to know everything to go into, to start a new project, let's say, or to begin a new business. I often feel this is about learning as I go. The 8 of Pentacles is about the willingness to be the apprentice, right? Like, maybe something, you know, maybe I want to go right to the top, but maybe there's important things I'm learning as I go. And eventually, you know, it's interesting, I called the Hermit the master teacher, but I feel like the person here eventually does become that. So if any of you are starting, you know, and when I say spiritual-based business, it doesn't mean that, you know, it has to be like tarot or because all of a sudden I'm getting like reflexology, you know, that type of energy. So If you're beginning anything, this feels like confirmation of something that it's just you're naturally born to do. You know, the Seven of Pentacles, again, it's that seed. Well, I have a feeling one of these seeds are coming to fruition. The 8, infinity, as above, so below. Someone's realizing that now, connected to the Hermit. It's interesting because she's got her books over here, and then she's got like these sound bowls over here, like the Tibetan singing bowl. So, you know, this can be a multiple, many different things. I'm noticing the moon phases above her. Her head is connected right to the full moon. Maybe that's why I said that we were having a full moon in Pisces. I think they called it a supermoon. Alright, let's keep going. So Seven of Pentacles mirroring that Four of Wands. You know, I feel like if this is about a relationship, it definitely feels like something that your soul wants. But then we get the Nine of Swords. So the Nine of Swords is a fear-based energy. It talks about unnecessary worry. You know, maybe that's what your guides want you. Maybe that's one of the messages your guides want you to know today. Like there may be something that you're worrying about, and they're like, "Don't worry." You know, maybe it's something you need to have patience in. You know, and I often feel like if it's relating to love, like sometimes our creative houses, you know, what we do for a living, what we bring to the world is just as important as love. And so we don't want to forget that, right? It's like a love for what you do. But this is worry. It's a 9, so it wants to be reflected upon. Like, where is this worry coming from? No doubt from the past. You know, maybe I think no one's going to make a commitment to me. You know, I get that a lot where people are like, your readings talk about love a lot, but no one for me. Maybe it just isn't your time yet. Maybe your vibration hasn't reached the level as another, or maybe their vibration hasn't. You know, that's what Temperance is about. She's taking care of both the cups, you know, soulmates. She's bringing them to the same vibration. Okay. Just a little bit of worry there. I say a little, but it's actually a lot of worry. Nine of Swords can end up being like sleepless nights. You know, I put my head down on a pillow and look at this. Seven of Swords. So this is telling us why. This is untrustworthy energy. This is the energy of wondering, you know. Well, first of all, I feel like you probably have dealt with someone who was untrustworthy. I don't know any other way to put it. You know, I don't know if they cheated. Doesn't have to mean that. But it's still energy where I feel like there was just someone I couldn't trust. And that does mess with our minds. It really does. Especially when you don't know. Like, ugh. But trust your intuition. Now, it did come in reverse. So, I am going to leave it in reverse because, you know, I wasn't going to do reversals, and I say that all the time. But if a card comes face up in reverse, then I leave it in that way. So, this could talk about, like, yes, I might have dealt with someone who, again, was just untrustworthy. And now I may feel, and maybe I've dealt with many people like that. You know, I have in my life. But I have to tell you, the person I'm with now is very trustworthy. I don't even have to worry about that. But I did have to, you know, when we first got together, that Nine of Swords raised its ugly head. But I had to look at it very quickly. And I had to understand, like, I couldn't take the past energy and move it forward because First of all, it's not fair to that person, but it wasn't fair to myself either. So I feel like the Seven of Swords, I kind of like it I love it in reverse, to be honest. And the Hermit's over it. But it's telling us why this worry is here. Maybe there is someone that you want to make a commitment with, but you don't know if you can trust them. First and foremost, pay attention to your intuition. If there's red flags, don't ignore them. But because the Seven of Swords is in reverse, I feel confident in saying that the chances are this person is trustworthy. Now, I know that's not for everyone, but let's keep going. The Fool. I love seeing the Fool right now because it's following some very difficult energy, right? The Nine of Swords, excess worry, but unnecessary worry. The Seven of Swords, untrustworthy energy, but it's in reverse. Now the Fool. This is starting something new. It's coming below the Eight of Pentacles, which is new. Remember, eights are always, speaks about a new beginning. It doesn't have to mean a new beginning in my whole life. It may just be an avenue. It may be in your creative house. The Fool is about taking a chance, taking a leap of faith. You don't have to, but I feel like it might serve you to do that. And again, the Fool, I feel like goes step by step by step. And don't forget, the Fool's got many mentors just, waiting, like along the path. The Magician teaches the Fool, you possess everything you need to be successful on this next journey. The High Priestess, I am your intuition. I am your GPS. This is what you want to pay attention to. So the Fool was not alone. I often feel like the Fool takes a leap of faith because the Fool feels like, well, my angels are there. My angels will catch me if I fall. So you're beginning something new. Something that feels like it's meant to be. Now, just because it's meant to be doesn't mean it has to be, because you do have free will. But again, this feels like something that where the seed's already been planted. Maybe now you're starting to see that sprout or even that blossom. We have the Ten of Swords. Okay, interesting, because the Ten of Swords is mirroring the Nine of Swords. However, take a look at this image. I know some of you just listen, you don't watch. So let me explain it to you. This is someone who I feel like, first of all, the Ten of Swords to me is a repeat pattern. It's like dagger after dagger after dagger in my back. Now, whether that dagger came from one person or it seems to have come over and over, just, in different phases of my life. This wants to end, but first I have to see that pattern. So, this person, what I love about this image is, this person, yes, they are coming down from a mountaintop. And maybe that doesn't feel good, right? Like, I have to leave my mountain. Right? It's my mountain, but I have to leave it. But what are they doing? They're forging a new path. Forging a new path. Finding the next mountain, right? Because there's not just one mountaintop. So I feel like you're on your way to your next mountaintop. And it's all about the climb. It's all about the journey. That's where I feel like, like the destination, I feel like sometimes doesn't even matter because it's about the journey as you're going along. I have a feeling as you're moving along here, You're going to find plenty of soulmates that are going to help you in different ways. Some of you, you may find a great love. Maybe you never expected it. Remember, we're starting at the Fool. That's the beginning. The Eight of Pentacles would also signify that. But the Hermit says, you know, you have a lot of wisdom just from your experiences in this lifetime, but also from all your lifetimes, and even your spiritual being. So, this Ten of Swords is what's causing the Nine of Swords. The Seven of Swords is also what's causing the Nine of Swords. So I feel like if I've been dealing with someone who is untrustworthy, this is saying maybe I need to leave that mountaintop. Because I feel like the next mountaintop with the Seven of Swords in reverse doesn't hold that type of energy. But if I don't see the pattern, right, because again, taking dagger after dagger after dagger in my back, why did I keep taking them? I feel like the person in the Ten of Swords often feels like they're, what's the word I want to use, like in a submissive state. It's almost like I'm just taking them now. So used to them, I'm just taking them. Sometimes we get too comfortable in the uncomfortableness, if that makes sense. Sometimes we think, it's hard to make a change. Yes, it is hard to make a change, but again, this person is heading towards their next mountain. You know, she's taking what she can carry, and she's leaving the rest. I've done that. I've done that a few times. You know, actually, when I came here with 2 suitcases, and everything else I owned, I gave to my daughter. So, sometimes you just need to do that. Alright, let's keep going. I don't think the Fool's going to repeat the Ten of Swords. And I'm saying that because of the Hermit. And the Hermit is connected to the Fool. It's like that Ten of Swords wants to leave. You know, I'm almost like, go ahead and leave. Alright, let's go below that. Whoop. Let's get our spread back in order. Alright, let's see what we have here. Page of Wands, much like the Fool's energy. Look at this, the Nine of Cups. I love it. Some of you may have left a relationship, you know, or a business, you know, like a job, that type of thing. But why? Well, because you're seeking inner harmony. Nine of Cups talks about finding that inner harmony. It's the complete opposite of the Nine of Swords. But why do I now get the Nine of Cups? Because I see the patterns. I understand that I was taking these daggers. Sometimes it can be a narcissistic type energy. Well, I'm not going to stick around and try to change you anymore. I'm just not going to do it. I do feel like this can be a singular energy, but I'm okay in that energy. Because again, this is inner harmony. This is about really learning to love your life again after the harshness. And then the Page of Wands before that, it's like she's going to throw that wand out into the air, and wherever it lands is where I'm going to go. I feel like the Page of Wands, much like the Fool, is someone who does take chances and thinks about it later. Now, you know, us being air, we could certainly get in our heads. So this would be a great energy to take on, right? Like sometimes we need to get out of our heads and take a chance. Take a chance on what? Take a chance on yourself. Take a chance on what's out there, right? Like, don't get stuck in the mundane or the, you know, the things that you're unsatisfied with, the lower vibrational people and energies. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't be afraid of taking a chance, you know, because I feel like everything is saying that. Like, take a chance, but take a chance on you. It's interesting we have 3 9s already. And I'm saying that because Taurus had 3 9s, and I actually wrote down, or I put under the comments what that was. And that is really talking about your spiritual guides. Not just understanding where you're at, but being proud of you. All right, the 5 of Wands. And then we have the Emperor. Card of Aries. You know, I don't know. But it seems like the Emperor being attached to the 5 of Wands, well, 5 of Wands is that battling type energy. It's a lot of ego. It's the energy of nobody backing down. You know, I've been there to the point where it's like, you know, sometimes you're expecting an apology or someone to say, like, you're right, I was wrong. But then it doesn't come. And sometimes you got to realize, like, do I even need it? Because I feel like this is about moving. I don't know if you're necessarily moving away from the Emperor. By the way, the Emperor is the father figure. But he is connected to 2 very difficult cards. 10 of Swords. Or 10 of Wands, I'm sorry. And then the 5 of Wands. Makes me feel even more. It's like we're splitting that 10 and taking it down to a 5. The Emperor is normally someone that we would look up to. Can be considered as the leader of the people. He is in the upright, though. He is in the upright. So I feel like I don't want to give him a bad rap yet. Maybe not at all. Maybe it's as you're leaving this one mountaintop, this Emperor is along the path of the next. Some of you, this could certainly talk about business ownership with the 8 of Pentacles here also. You know, it's like if I was working in a place that had a lot of drama. Or, you know, I got this, and this is another message I got from Taurus' reading, so I have a feeling some of you are connected to a Taurus also. But it feels like also the energy, and again, this is not for everyone, but I do feel like for some of you, it's like at the workplace, there's a lot of ego. You know, like, what's that? You know, like ass kissers. You know, but I don't want to be that person. Like, I see them kissing the boss's ass. Well, that's not me. Not who I want to be. I feel like this is also about not allowing yourself to get pulled into anyone else's drama. And I feel like, you know, if some of you are in, let's just say, a work situation and maybe you're just not happy there. Maybe you're receiving these epiphanies of different things and ideas that you can do. You know, I feel like if anybody's been stealing your ideas, it's not going to happen anymore. Alright, let's see what's at the bottom of the deck, and then we'll use the clarifiers to go deeper. Knight of Wands. I love that for you. You know, a knight. To me, a knight will always complete their mission. I feel like a knight is sent in by, let's say, the queen or the king, maybe even the emperor. This is about something that can happen quickly. Maybe that's why the Fool's here. Yeah, I got to take a leap even though it's happening so fast. Maybe it's talking about the beginning of a new relationship. You know, and then I'm thinking about, well, what about existing relationships? You know, is there, you know, but there's difficulty in that relationship. Is there potential to bring it back to a loving place. I would say if both people are willing, right? Because in the Four of Wands, both people clearly want to be in that energy, and there's no doubt. So, I feel like if both people want it, then of course it can be saved. Both people are willing to put the work in. Eight of Pentacles says, put your focus on something, and that's what you're going to grow. But for some of you, this is energy that's coming toward you, that feels like it's new. Again, it's very desirable, though it can feel chaotic because it can come in quick. See what's underneath it. Look at that, the Two Swords. Two Swords means that there's a potential I could block an opportunity, because you do have free will. Let's not forget that. And sometimes I want to say, damn that free will, but thank God for free will at the same time. So, Two Swords just means there's a blindfold on. There's something that, I don't want to face, but it does serve me to take that blindfold off. Alright, let's bring in the Gilded Tarot. Let's get right into this. I'm looking at the four corners, and we have the Four of Wands, which again is called the Marriage card. I call it the Commitment card because I don't know if I want to get remarried, but it doesn't mean I'm not in love. You know what I mean? So I call it the Commitment card. And then the Seven of Pentacles. I feel the Seven of Pentacles are, are soul seeds of intention. So it means it's something that my soul wants to experience. And then you have the Emperor. So for some of you, it could certainly be an Aries, or it can be business ownership. And then the Page of Wands, much like the Fool. I'm going to throw that wand out, and wherever it lands, I'm going to follow. And by the way, where does it land? It lands in the Nine of Cups. That's joy. That's happiness. Even if I'm by myself. But probably won't be for that long, if that makes sense. Some of you, this energy of the Seven of Swords could talk about a current relationship again. And, maybe you've had enough of something and you're wondering, should I take a chance and leave? Will I be okay? This feels like, yes, you will be okay. As long as you're putting the action forward, right? As long as you're taking a step forward and not looking back. Sometimes we don't have to look back. All right. Let's start at the beginning, but read it as a whole. Four of Wands, the Hermit. Well, that didn't take long. Eight of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles. Hello, Ten of Pentacles. I'll take it all day long. This is a house of abundance. I feel like this is a house of loyalty. This is definitely an energy where you have all that you need. It doesn't mean that you're rich. Some of you, it can certainly mean that you become rich. But I feel like rich, becoming rich can mean many different things to many different people. Like, I'm not someone who needs to have like a ton of money. I'd rather have peace of mind. That's more important to me. Ten of Pentacles, right over the Four of Wands. And then the Queen of Wands. Well, I feel like you're all people in a reading unless I feel it otherwise. So the Queen of Wands can be an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We do have Aries down here. Coming over the Hermit. Queen of Wands is someone who, much like, we have the younger self of the Queen of Wands, the Page of Wands. Again, this is someone who moves according to their desires. Like, here comes this knight, right? Bringing some type of passion, some type of desire in. Well, this queen, if it calls to her, She's going to move with it and think about it later. But she's a queen, so, she must trust herself by this point. She must have had understanding, some of the free will choices I made didn't work out. But that's okay. At least I took a chance. I feel like that's how this queen thinks. Alright, so not all of them worked out. But at least I took a chance. I'm not going to go to my deathbed thinking, why didn't I do that? And why didn't I do this? Coming right over the Hermit, the wise one. I'm going to talk about some of you being an old soul. You know what I mean? Like, definitely feels like an old soul. It's weird, I'm stepping on something. Alright. Look at this. The Knight of Wands just flipped itself over in the deck. Right over the Eight of Pentacles. It's interesting, Gemini. I feel like this is covering all your bases. For those who are thinking about beginning a new craft. And I feel like if you are, you're being inspired. Like you're receiving epiphanies. Maybe you don't even know it. You know what I mean? It's like, like my interest gets piqued in something. And the Eight of Pentacles says, follow it. Follow it. Knight of Wands made it from the bottom of the deck. Now right into the spread. Here's that Two of Swords. Dang it. How interesting that under the Knight of Wands here is the Two of Swords. Now we have the Knight of Wands on the table in our spread, and also following the Two of Swords. And then we have the Four of Cups. Okay. Let's talk about this. This is the area where I feel like a lot of people skip. It's like they want to go right to the love cards or right to the success, right? But we have to know how to get there. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like, miracles just fall in our lap. I feel like blessings and miracles and opportunities come because of the actions we've taken. So, we need to look at this because the Four of Cups is about discontentment in one's life. Yet at the same time, this person in the Four of Cups is being shown a cup. They're not reaching out for it, but they are seeing it. Coming over the Nine of Swords, it's like, again, it is that energy of like, I feel like I'm unsatisfied with something, but at the same time, I feel like maybe nothing changes until I make that physical move. And I don't always mean like I'm like making a physical move, I'm leaving my home, or I'm leaving my job. No, maybe it's just, it's an understanding. So, discontentment. Let's go back now and look at the Two of Swords. Two of Swords is coming right over the Seven of Pentacles. So I feel like first and foremost, these seeds are your soul's intention. Like these seeds are what your soul wanted to experience in this lifetime. We're in a universal year 7, by the way. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's talking about these seeds want to come to fruition. It's almost like we talked about planting the seed, right? Well, there the seed's been planted, nurturing that seed, but maybe now it's come to blossom. And if I don't pick that blossom, what's going to just, it's pretty to look at, but maybe I want it like in my office. Two Swords, it's, I describe it as something I don't want to face because I think it's scary. I often refer to it as like that monster. I think that monster is out there, and I think that monster is big and scary. But truth be told, when I rip off that blindfold, when I face the facts, when I face my life and any situations I need to deal with, it's better to deal with them than to ignore them. Because I feel like in the Two of Swords, if I don't take off that blindfold, that monster in my head just seems bigger and bigger and bigger, to the point where sometimes it makes us feel stuck. Rip off the blindfold. Face whatever it is you need to face. And I feel like once you do that, then you can make real decisions. You know, the Four of Cups, its message is about using your spiritual discernment. But coming over the Nine of Swords, it's hard to trust, right? Doesn't mean that you don't have that. It just means, for some reason, I already know the reason, I'm having a hard time trusting that. Rip off that blindfold, baby. I'm telling you, it will only serve you. You know, that passion's rushing towards you, whether you accept it or not. Now, maybe you don't accept it and it just rushes right by. Whoa. Okay, well, man, am I happy to see this. The Nine of Swords in reverse. Coming right over the Seven of Swords in reverse. So I feel like you ripped off that blindfold that quickly. You're using your spiritual discernment that quickly. And because of that, that fear is gone now. Hello, Ace of Wands. Wow. Over the Fool. You know, let's talk about the Ace of Wands, because Ace of Wands does call for action. But it is, you know, it's the ability or the opportunity to begin something again very desirable. You know, coming over the Fool, I love that. Especially with the Nine of Swords now in reverse. I find it very interesting that we have the Nine of Swords in the upright, with the Four of Cups over that, discontentment, boredom within my own life, yet here is a cup being offered, right? So it's going to take this person's spiritual discernment, but I feel like if they trust in that, I feel like the blindfold comes off, and that when that blindfold comes off, that fear almost feels like it's erased. I mean, I feel like this is how divine works. So now it's time. It's like now you can take this ace and make the most out of it. Again, it does require your action, but it is connected to the Knight of Wands, also the Eight of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay. The High Priestess in reverse. Over the Ten of Wands. Under the Two of Swords. You know what that tells me is some of you just weren't trusting your intuition. You know, you weren't trusting the signs. Maybe you didn't think that a seed or the seeds that you planted were ever going to come to fruition. You know, it's like, you know, if I think of Aries, the seed planter, right? If Aries never plants that seed, well, then there is no harvest in the fall. Well, now we're almost in the fall. So this could be talking about something is coming soon, or a change is happening soon, or you making a decision to make a change. Seven of Swords in reverse again. So it's like double confirmation. Some of you, it could certainly talk about a current person. Like maybe I feel like someone is untrustworthy, and maybe they're not. But listen, you trust your intuition over that, because I feel like this is really talking about what's happening moving forward. It's almost like your guides are I don't want to say guaranteeing you, because again, free will. But I feel like what's ever heading toward you, it's energy you can trust in. Whether it be a person or whether it just be all elements of your life. Now you can start to trust in it. Coming over the Page of Wands. And then look at this, the Five of Wands in reverse. Over the Nine of Cups. So this is where there was a lot of ego. This is where there was a lot of battling type energy. But now because it's in reverse, I feel like you left it. Or you cleared it. Or you no longer accepted it. Whatever it may be, because it's coming over the Nine of Cups. So that energy alone brings you like inner harmony. You know, I don't love reversals. But man, the ones that you're getting in reverse are the ones I would want to see in reverse. Not only does the fear have a chance to subside, but so does the drama. And then we have the Queen of Swords. You know, the Queen of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But let me tell you why I feel like she's here. Because she's coming over the Five of Wands, and I feel like she's stating her case. It's like she's saying, I'm not going to take anybody's untrustworthy energy. I'm not going to take anyone's drama, right? I need to live in truth. And if you cannot be truthful, then you're not my person. Or you're not my place of employment. You know, whatever it may be. This is someone who has learned to live within their own authentic skin. I feel like you are stating your case. And I don't even feel like I'm waiting for a reply. Like, I'm just telling you the way I feel, and that's that. And that is that. Alright, let's go over the Emperor. I've been waiting to go over the Emperor. I have a feeling I'm going to do a second spread for you also. Just seems to be what the month is requiring, so I'm happy to do it. Eight of Wands over the Emperor. Alright, so I feel like I can trust this Emperor. Now listen, for some of you, this could certainly speak of someone of your past who, you know, I'm feeling it both ways, to be honest with you. But I do want to remember the Emperor is in the upright. So when the Emperor is in the upright, it is someone that I can look up to. Why? Why can I look up to this person? Because this person has taken certain actions that has improved their life. Now, these actions and their experiences, they then use to help others. You know, the Emperor is the leader of the people. You know, it's funny, it's reminding me, I don't know, we saw a show yesterday where people were looking up their names and the meaning. And I remember this was a couple years ago, my granddaughter Faith and I were just, you know, we were just messing around and we were looking up different names and we looked up our names, you know. And my name means defender of man. And I thought, oh my God, that is so fitting. Because that's what I feel like I do for you. Like, I want to help you to, first of all, be able to overcome any hardships. And let me tell you, I have a lot of hardships I've had to overcome. And I feel like that is why the Emperor is such a good leader. Because the Emperor has had these experiences. The Emperor has learned from these experiences. And now helping others to, let's just say, better their lives. Eight of Wands, fast-moving energy. You do have a lot of energy that's moving fast. This is also, to me, the energy of what I think about, I bring about. I feel like we have to understand that our intentions is 9/10 of the law. Yes, our guides are here to help guide us, but our intentions are what really brings the seeds to fruition. Universe doesn't look at that intention and be like, oh, I don't know if that intention's good for him, so I'm not going to send it back. It's like where your vibration is at. I feel like 4 of the wands go out and 4 of the wands come back. It's a vibration that's meeting yours right where you're at. Some of you could certainly mean the Emperor. Okay. There's a couple things I want to look at. And then I think I might even do another spread. But I want to look at the Ace of Wands over the Fool. I want to know just a little bit more about that. Went to the floor. Six of Wands. Energy of victory. Why? You know, to me, this is the energy of having a platform, and other people are looking up to you. And they're looking up to you because of the actions that you've taken. That's where the victory comes from. Over the Ace of Wands. So some of you, it may be a platform you're just beginning in. And it may be your very experiences that are going to help you reach success. You have a lot of energy of success here, but you also have a lot of energy of, I don't know, having to overcome certain things. Let's just say that. I feel like if anybody, for some of you who have a business like tarot, like where you speak your word, your voice, your authentic voice, may be part of what your platform is. So, be the Fool. Accept the Ace. Remember, the Ace needs your action to activate it, so to speak. And I feel like just see where it takes you. Have certain intentions, of course, but at the same time, the Fool kind of lets go of how things must be. The Fool lives in the present moment. Not the future, but in the present moment. Okay, before we pick this up, I also want to let's look at the Emperor again. First came out the Ten of Cups. Hello. Interesting because we have the Nine of Cups here. And now we move into the Ten of Cups. Inner harmony. Letting go of the drama. Letting go of the things, other people's ego, even our own, right? Understanding that I don't always, if I'm waiting for someone to, claim, what they've done, and I don't get it, maybe I don't need it. Maybe instead I take on the Fool's energy. So I can't help but look at this Emperor now in quite a loving light. Your inner harmony first and foremost, and then the Ten of Cups, the House of Harmony. Interesting, it's like some of you may be switching houses. Maybe I was in the Ten of Pentacles. I left it for whatever the reason. I mean, it feels, all the reasons seem to be here. And maybe now I'm moving into the Ten of Cups energy. It's a very loving type energy. And with that is the Moon, card of Pisces, which we talked about at the beginning of the reading. So I have a feeling this Pisces full moon, I feel like it's a blessing for you. Now, the Moon, it's also the ruler of Cancer, by the way. But the Moon can mean uncertainty, but it's also very dreamy. And I feel like that's really what it's talking about. It's almost like as I start to climb, or I start the journey of where my next mountaintop is, I find this inner harmony within myself, right? I reclaim my authentic self, my voice, who I am. I no longer put up with other people's drama. If someone's been untrustworthy, well, that's all I need to know. Bye-bye. I face what I need to face. And I feel like, why would the rest not take care of itself? as we ourselves lift our own vibration, well, the universe must match that. I mean, that's just a given. So, I have a feeling this is talking about the Pisces full moon. And I think they call it a supermoon. Well, we shall take it. Okay, let's do what I've been doing. Let's pick these up. And we're going to do another spread. And all I'm really looking for in the other spread is anything that I've missed, any other messages, whatever needs to happen. I'm okay with that. Dun, 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 dun. We're going to use a completely different deck. That's my chair. Like, I keep waiting for it to break. Let's use the Luminous Tarot because it's been very good to us this month. Let's see if I can grab it. There we go. I'm going to give it a couple shuffles though. I feel like just one more. I feel like I want to do it in threes. Alright, let's give them a cut. I feel like, ooh, Team knows that King of Swords. I'm just looking at the King of Swords because I didn't realize that I had a card that where the top is coming, or the covering is coming out. I don't know what to say. Alright, but I felt like these cards wanted to come out, so we're going to take them. Seven of Swords. Dang, Seven of Swords. Queen of Pentacles. Can be a Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Let me tell you about the Queen now. Because this Queen should pick up that energy of anything that's untrustworthy right away. This Queen's specialty is picking up those details that other people miss. So if someone thinks that they're going to get this energy by her, they're not going to. I just feel that. Like there's no way they're going to sneak by her. The Tower. Interesting. It's, this is what it looks like to me. Here's this Queen of Pentacles, who, again, her specialty is really, it's like reading between the lines, picking up details other people just for some reason miss. Seven of Swords is looking right at her. It's almost like she's taken that person in the Seven of Swords, who at one time was at the top of this tower, and she's pushing them off the tower. It's like this person is falling from grace. Like, don't come after my pentacle. I don't feel like it's her that's suffering the tower. I just literally feel like she's pushing that person right off the tower, and it's like their fall from grace. Queen of Swords is back out again. She's looking towards the future. She's got her hand out. It's like she's got something important to say. Her back is to the Seven of Swords. I like that. Her back is to the tower. I like that. It's almost like two sides of yourself. Like this Queen is seeing that Seven of Swords clearly and immediately throws it off the tower. And the Queen of Swords now is looking towards the future. Well, let's follow. Two of Cups. soulmate. So, even though this is coming under the Seven of Swords, I wanted to know what the Queen is looking towards, because she's looking towards the future. So, soulmate. And then we have Justice, card of Libra. For some of you, this could, it almost feels like, listen, maybe I was with someone and maybe they were a soulmate. Soulmates do teach us lessons. But they're really meant to be like a more gentler type love. But it doesn't mean, and I feel like if they're a soulmate, well then this is something that was pre-planned, like predestined. But why would that be predestined? So that your soul, can learn from it, expand from it. Maybe it's so you could find your own power. And I also feel like for some, maybe I gave someone the title of a soulmate, but maybe they really weren't. Maybe they were strictly a free will decision. I feel like this Queen, though, again, looking forward. So I feel like this is talking about the potential of another soulmate. Or a real soulmate. Whatever it may be for you. Justice. Well, justice is about what's fair and just in the world. Could certainly talk about cutting of ties, right? Anyone who carries this untrustworthy energy, it's like this Queen's like, I don't have time for, I don't have room for, I'm going to throw you right off that tower. You're going to fall from grace so fast. And I'm not even going to stick around and watch it. So this is about bringing you back to whole again. I do feel like there's a need to really trust your energy. All right, let's keep going. Dang. Eight of Cups. Just like, I'm out of here. Under that tower. I am out of here. Cutting ties. And I'm gone. Eight of Cups talks about, I feel like it's saying that there must have been a period of time where your emotional house just felt a wreck. But again, because you were willing to take off blindfolds, because you were willing to see truth for what it really is, and understand that, like, I gotta allow the past to be the past, and I gotta live like the fool in the present moment. I do need to take chances, right? I do need to take a leap of faith, but I feel like you've learned so much that I don't feel like you'll end up, like if you've been dealing with like that heavy narcissistic type energy, I don't feel like you'll end up in that type of energy again. I just don't. The Death card. Well, that's an ending. Card of Scorpio, first of all. But this is closing of a door. It's like you closing a door and you're locking it. I feel like I don't even have to like go into great detail, because I feel like you already know. It's like I am closing that door and I'm locking that door. And that door will never reopen. Now, this is dealing with, again, someone who is untrustworthy. I don't want that door to reopen. This is you finding that emotional clarity. And then knowing that you have to close the door, right? If I don't close the door, another door will never open. Just the way energy works. The Death card is about a rebirth. A rebirth in what? Well, it's mirroring the Two of Cups. So again, this person in the Seven of Swords who carries untrustworthy energy, they could have been a soulmate. They could be here to like help you learn, help your soul learn. And I know some people are going to be like, Sandy. But that's just the truth. Our soul didn't come down here just to have an easy peasy life. Like, that's not where we gain soul expansion from. It is from these experiences. But again, this Queen, I'm telling you, I feel like this person comes towards her, bam, she pushes him right off the tower. And she closes that door and allows herself to have that rebirth. This queen wants a rebirth. She's asking for it. All right, let's take one more row. And then we'll read Mother Mary. Well, hello, King of Pentacles. Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Interesting, because he's coming under the soulmates. He is the Queen of Pentacles counterpart. But that Seven of Swords is up there too. Oh, man. Okay, I feel like that's a lot of cards. I'm going to take them, though. We have the Four of Pentacles. We have the Hangman. We have the Eight of Wands again. You know, the Hangman is like a pause in the action. Why was that pause important? Because during that, and what I want you to remember about the Hangman is seeking wisdom. Like, I am seeking wisdom on my next steps. But also, this is about having emotional clarity and the importance of that. You know, it is reflecting over the cups that have been knocked over. But then moving from that. Closing that door. Like, okay, I have enough emotional clarity that I'm ready to start traveling again. So, this Hangman, I feel like, yes, was a pause in the action, but I do feel like this Hangman is receiving the wisdom that the Hangman's looking for, because right next to it is now the Eight of Wands, mirroring this King. And then we have the Page of Wands again. The Queen of Cups can be a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, but this is about someone who has an open heart. Again, the Page right before this Queen. I feel like the Page is saying, I may potentially be taking a chance in love. Now I'm saying love, but maybe it's just the beginning of something. And the Two of Pentacles. I feel like the Two of Pentacles talks about using your logical mind as it relates to making a decision here. So again, you have a lot of fast moving energy, but passionate type energy moving towards you. You know, they call this also the Juggler's card. You know, a lot of times it means I got a lot of balls up in the air. This is how I look at the Two of Pentacles. If something's coming towards me, which everything signifies it is, will it expand my life, or is it going to deplete my life? Is it going to take me back to what I've already cleared or tried to? Or is it something that's going to expand my awareness? Is it good for me? Or is it not? Now, I feel like because it's Pentacles, it is your logical mind. You know, ultimately you have to make the decision. Nobody can make it for you. Your guides can send you signs. Hopefully you trust those signs. Again, I feel like in the Eight of Wands, that's plenty of action coming back towards you. I have a feeling this Queen, of Pentacles, though I do feel like it's you. Especially with Justice pointing her sword directly up to this Queen. You've cut some ties. And it is serving you. Not only have you cut ties, you've learned a lot. And again, whatever comes towards you that's not good for you, you're just going to knock them right off their tower. Right? It's going to be like an instant fall from grace. And I feel like this King of Pentacles is the counterpart. I feel like this king is a soulmate. And for some of you, this may be where you're making your home. I just want to look. I know, the readings are awful long this month, but I want to look at this Two of Cups, keeping the King of Pentacles in mind. Though, you know, we do have Libra right next to the Two of Cups. We also have Scorpio right here. So we do have a lot of energy that it couldn't, you know. And I say that because I know, you know, people come here who don't have Gemini in their chart. You know what I mean? Like they just feel guided. So I want to make sure I do cover the tracks. Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is about reflection. Nine of Wands, you know, it's like your spirit guides want you to understand the growth that you've had. Normally in the Nine of Wands, you'll see someone who's like outgrown the clothes that they're in. They're ripped, they're tattered. But that's because their spiritual muscles have grown. They no longer fit in that old human skin, let's say, right? I shed that skin. I feel like ultimately, as I reflect back, you know, and the Nine of Wands is about knowing one's own responsibility within our lives. You know, sometimes we stay at the party too long. Sometimes we know people are untrustworthy, but yet the thought of change scares us. So this is really getting to know yourself. Ultimately, this person is a spirit warrior. Always was. But now you're realizing that. So coming over that Two of Cups, feels like there were great lessons. And by the way, all these wands have new growth on them. We have the Ten of Swords. The Sun. Beautiful. So anything that I'm uncertain of, the Sun gives us clarity in, right? And you know, with the Seven of Swords and the Ten of Swords now here, the Sun is great to see because the Sun tells you that, you know, nothing can hide in the Sun's energy. No shadow can hide in the Sun's energy. What's ever done in the dark will come to the light. I feel like it does want you to look at also, though, that potentially you did take too many daggers in the back. Now, again, I'm not judging you. No one is judging you. It's just we need to have this realizations about ourselves so that we don't repeat it. If we don't see where we've been and what we maybe have allowed or what have you, then how can there be real change, as the Death card is asking for, right? A rebirth. So this energy seems important to know, right? My responsibility within something, and I feel like it's just talking about a pattern. You may have been through certain patterns in your life, and now you're breaking them. The Sun says everything will be illuminated to you and for you. And then we have the Three of Cups, energy of joy and celebration, following the Sun. So I feel like as it relates to relationships, I do feel like, you know, I just feel like those who just carried untrustworthy energy, you have no time for anymore. You're on to bigger and better things. And I do feel like in all areas of your life. All right. I know I should go, but I don't want to yet. Strength card. Interesting. 2 Leo cards. Strength card is about our inner demons. And it's learning to balance ourselves first and foremost, right? It's the understanding that we have shadow and we have light. And sometimes we live in our shadows. Sometimes we're called, sometimes it's necessary. But this is about finding that balance within. I don't even know what I'm taking it on. All right, one more round. Anything that needs to come out now. Okay. Hello, Empress. So we saw the Emperor in the last spread, and now we have the Empress. First of all, this is a vibration. This is how I look at it. We've seen, 3 queens, I believe? And I say it all the time. I feel like the Empress has gone through the experiences of all the queens. And that's how she becomes the Empress. This is a high vibration. This is someone who is loving and nurturing. But she is nobody's fool. She's learned, right? She's gone through that untrustworthy energy. She's gone through towers. She's gone through it all. But ultimately, she learned from it. And it brings her to this vibration. It's almost like that Queen of Pentacles taking someone and just throwing them immediately off that tower. Like, I see you're untrustworthy right away. And I have no room for you in my life. Boom, you're gone. And then look at this, the Ace of Wands again. I feel like the Empress is always receiving epiphanies. This is someone where I feel like, Divine knows that if I send the Empress an idea or an epiphany, I know she's going to put it to use. I know she's going to give birth to it. And so she does. It's like a new path. But of wands. Desirable. Passionate. Action-oriented. Creating the life you want. Eliminating the things that you no longer want. And having the strength and the illumination to do that. I feel like that's why we got watched over. It's like your guides are so involved. And they want to help you reach this vibration. I feel like we all have the Empress in us, male or female. It's just coming to that vibration. And then understanding when my vibration is high and I'm manifesting or I receive epiphanies and I give birth to them, I already know they're going to be successful. Listen, doesn't mean that the Empress is someone who puts a plan in place. And the Empress is much more kind of like free-flowing, knowing that, sometimes it may look different than what I expect, but that doesn't mean that's a bad thing. Sometimes it's a good thing, right? So it's being open to whatever these aces want to bring in. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there. I feel like we are probably, where are we? Oh yeah, we're over an hour for sure. We're probably going to head to like an hour and a half. All right, but let's read Watched Over by Mother Mary. This card brings a message of reassurance of your safety and asks you to drop any defenses or guards that may be currently be preventing you from enjoying your life. By relaxing into God's protective arms, you reduce your stress level in helpful ways. God, Jesus, Mother Mary, and the angels have heard and answered your prayers for protection. You receive their answers via your repetitive feelings and thoughts, which guide you along the pathway of safety. Keep your mind sober and open so that you can clearly pick up on these divine messages, and be sure to take action where they direct you. That's what this Ace of Wands is. It comes in, and then it's your action. I don't know, Gemini. It's funny, when I get to this point of the reading, I'm always thinking, like, what am I going to title this? It is very hard to put all of this information in like 10 words. But I do try. I try very hard. And your thumbnails. Like, I want you to pay attention to your thumbnails, because I pick them out. I want them to ignite something within you. And that way you can trust whether, Anyways. I just want to thank you guys real quick. I want to thank you for your donations. Truly, it is you that I am so grateful for. Because of you, it allows me to stay on YouTube and bring these free readings. I want to thank you for sharing the videos. I want to thank you for becoming a subscriber. Truly. I want to thank those who have been with me. And, I've had a lot of people ask me lately about personal readings. I want you to know, under every single reading, under the more detailed information, everything is there if you decide you want to go that direction. Have patience, though. That's the one thing I beg you for when it comes to a personal reading. They're very intense, they're very long, and that's why sometimes it takes a while to get them done. Also, I do have a membership program. To check that out, just hit that join button. That doesn't commit you to anything. It just shows you the different tiers, and then you can make an informed decision from there. And I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just know I've had quite a few people lately ask me how do I do this. Under every video, it will give you the way, if you choose that. I thank you for your comments, and I thank you for helping others in the comment section. It's funny, I said in one of the readings that I feel like, because I have, like, right now I have almost an equal number of women to men in my channel. Some of you, you just never know. You might connect through the comment section. It's funny, it is reminding me of someone left a message and said, "Husband, are you out there in the comment?" And who knows? I know life happens in mysterious ways. I mean, that's the story of my life. It's the story of my love life too. So anyways, I love you guys. I'm going to stop talking now so I can get this reading up and out to you. I hope this helps you, and I would love to hear it in your comments, how you relate to it, and if you've been in that old energy, how you got out of it. And the reason why is because I do feel like you help others. So I thank you for that. I thank you for everything. I have so much gratitude for you guys. I hope you have a wonderful month. I hope this joy and abundance and even love finds you. Like, I hope it knocks on your door. All right. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye-bye.